Hi all, I'm Pushp Sirohi and today we'll see the science behind decisions. So, how decision makers take decision, the factors which affect their decisions. So, making decision is never easy. Particularly amid today's virtually limitless options in market, a lot of books, websites offer a dozen effective mental tactics and cognition tools that respected thinkers and planners apply to making decisions. The pragmatic, interesting manual is fun read and surprisingly useful. So it's actually a step-by-step process. So like first step is use mental model to make smart decisions in an increasingly complex world that is drowning in data. So as the world grow more complicated, making smart decisions is increasingly challenging. You need the best mental tactics to puzzle out decisions rationally. Every day you face hundreds of options, some small, some significant. Mental models work alongside, not instead of. Your personal approach to problem solving, these strategies have power, practicality, and value. Use them to supplement your cognitive process. So, to make smarter choices, starting with bringing mental model to bear in your decision making process. Cognitive shortcuts or mental models can help you see patterns. So, avoid cognitive mistakes, apply fresh perspectives, anatomize complex problems, and once you decide what to do, engage in productive actions. So, the second step is frame the problem before you try to solve it. Making decisions means answering the questions that solve problems, being by describing or framing the problem. So, a well said, once a person said, a problem well put is half solved. So, determine who initially stated the problem and what underlying interest he or she pursued. People often select the problems they prioritize, but your decision must fit your organization's need. List the challenges that confront you or your company and decide which you will attempt to solve. So keep several tactical concerns in mind. Not every problem should be solved. Consider whether your solution could create a new problem or series of new problems. Not every problem needs to be solved immediately. There is a famous planning principle states what is important is seldom urgent and what is urgent is seldom important. Remember this when you address what you believe your most urgent problem. Not every problem needs to be solved by you. Many times problems solve themselves or other people solve them. Determine if people problem require your input. If not, leave it. 3. Embrace varied viewpoints and independent thinking. As you address a problem, consult people with different viewpoints and experiential backgrounds. So include people with no vested interest in the problem or its solution. Let team members handle assessments independently to avoid groupthink. Raise questions that probe below the surface. What is the true root cause of the problem? Who benefit from this problem being solved? Who suffer from it? Who is indifferent? Carefully and completely gather your facts, data, and evidences. Because the more we use digital systems, the more data is collected. The more data collected, the better algorithmic model can be trained and the more powerful the algorithms get. So, for solving problem require open, unbiased mind. So, according to systems analyst Buckminster Fuller, until the year 1900, human knowledge had increased by 100% every 100 years. By 1950, knowledge was increasing by 100% every 25 years. Since then, the rate of knowledge growth has kept increasing and will expand with increased digitization. For example, the Internet of Things. So, thinking clearly, analyze rigorously, decide carefully, and act boldly. Bias thinking and confirmation bias. This is, seeking only data which support your presuppositions. So make it difficult to sort the use that avalanche of information. Biased belief system confound the problem. So and then five like next step is discover and diffuse your blind spots. The onslaught of information can leave you with blind spots because you might not know what you don't know. Uncover your blind spots 7 ways. So we come up with terminologies through which you can spot your 7 ways. So first is understand how your mind works. You aren't getting sound information if you eat only data that support your beliefs or rely on plausible stories that may not reflect reality. So seek information that seems to be missing. Then try to make the best possible argument for the other side. So consider the merit of other people's idea. Be humble. Overconfidence is the enemy of clear thinking. So attach probabilities to your belief and regularly calibrate them. Assess the reliability of your beliefs. Place bets on your beliefs. Pay up if you are wrong. We calls such bets a tax on bad information. So adopt a skeptic mindset. Sharpen your ability to detect false information. Be eternally skeptical for your own beliefs. Tap into other people's mind. Team your fact checkers will devil's advocate. So then create an objective evidence base by diversifying your information source. So try to not answer question accurately and objectively instead of being swayed by your own personal attitudes and impressions. As you collect evidence, check your data before you state your hypothesis. Phrase each hypothesis as a proposition, not a question. So, like, be wary of stereotyping and oversimplifying. Your decisions is not only as sound as your data. So, incorrect or misleading data are useless. Understanding the implication of your data and hypothesis. So, connect all dots is the next process. So, analyzing your data can be challenging because information and decisions can be complicated and unwindly. So, statistically analysis or tree diagrams can help. Tree diagrams create a structure for your thinking and support clear communication. They promote mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. So MECE thinking. So approach can help you break a large issues into its components. So people try to see decipher patterns in data, even if the data are random. Treat data with respect. Establish a baseline as you attempt to spot outlier, so and potentially misleading information. So then apply system thinking. Next step is very important. Interdependent actors and their organizations from integrated systems, you have to detect when you are making decisions. Map out the most pertinent systems and consider how they connect. Such systems thinking involve establish casual chains as well, as when A leads to B leads to C. Notice feedback loops. For example, situation in which C affect A, your job as a decision maker often involves creating, altering, or ending these loops. System thinking, which can illuminate patterns and cause and effect relationship, helps you intelligently analyze feedback loops and determine how to intervene if necessary. And the next step is very important, plan your problem solving approach. So, decision makers use this model to deliberate based on criteria, weights, and scores, determining which criteria will shift your thinking and value them appropriately. Weak decision makers often end up speculating, not evaluating. Casual relationship. They reach inadequate decisions that usually are not aligned with reality. Consider these problem solving strategies. Thinking on the margin. Smart decision making calls for marginal thinking, that is, considering only the factor relevant to your decision. So use this tactic to weight extra cost versus extra benefits, as opposed to trying to estimate every benefits and cost your choice brings. So that's difficult to calculate and often leads you into all or nothing trap. So marginal thinker don't worry about whole details such as uncoverable costs. So structured scoring model. So apply this approach when you must consider multiple options. Most carefully thinkers learn us that apparently straightforward choice often turn out not to be straightforward at all. They look for ways to simplify complex and stressful decisions. So adopt specific formal tools. Consider using the critical path method or creating a decision tree if you want to lay out your options in a structured way. This can help you weigh your options while being aware that even the best choice have costs that you must weigh against their attendant value. Line up accountability partner. Work with someone who wants to improve his or her problem solving skills as much as you do. Talk through the problems you both face. Next is also very important step. That's last step. Methodically implement your problem solving initiatives. So as you take actions toward your goal, turn your smart decisions into superior strategies. Your immediate objective is to avoid execution failure and to create a plan that reflects good decision making. The more experience you amass as a planner and executor, the better you will become. If you're making an organizational decision, be sure everyone's incentives lines up. Competing incentives among central participants generally lead to failed initiatives. You can use a decision audit to analyze your choice. If you have already made and implemented a decision, you can use an audit as a post operation analysis. A decision audit involves asking several questions such as, did others pursue similar decision in some similar circumstances? If so, how did they perform? Did they achieve good results? What changes should you make to your decision making processes based on their decisions? Would you, for example, select a different corporate priority or a different investment? Can we both open? Can we be open? Transparency is mandatory, especially if your decision audit reflects poorly on your or your colleagues. Would we still make the same decisions today that we made at the time, even? So, if your answer is yes, ask why. If not, what specific element of the analysis should be different? Are costs too high or benefits too few? What decision making strategies could have improved the outcome? And then in end, making the best decision require having multiple mental models at your disposals. So use multiple mental models to make smarter plans and decisions. Otherwise, given the frailties of human psychology, people will always try to twist their perceptions of reality to fit their inherent biases. Multiple models, especially if you draw from different disciplines, mitigate these universal cognition problems. With all options facing you, the more mental tools or decision frameworks you have at your disposal, the better your choice can be. So, technologically advanced tools for making decisions include new and better digital systems and algorithms, as well as online decision making tools that drive choice based on past behaviors and the preferences of a target audience. As you feel more data into such algorithms, they improve. But don't place all your faith in algorithms. No matter how sophisticated these systems become, independent thinking and quality decision making will always matter. Be thoughtful when you make decisions and keep your mental tool updated. Think carefully before you jump into problem solving mode. Apply these tactics and new approaches to solve the problems you face on regular day-to-day basis. Familiarize yourself with the critical path of your project, which means sorting and aligning the various tasks either in sequence or in parallel. Figure out what you need to do, which task come first, second, and so on. Estimate how much time will each require. So, as you proceed, continually check your progress against your initial plans to be sure you follow your budget, time frames, and performance parameters. Consider the risk of each step and any further developments that might undermine your progress or cause you to change your path. Build in time to pause. Consider your action, evaluate their effectiveness, make changes as necessary, and adopt new learnings. Open yourself for new learnings, and new learnings will comes up with more responsibilities. So enjoy the way how we make decisions. Hope you will like it. Thank you guys.